Good morning, folks. Hope that you're all doing well and staying away from this dreaded disease. And again, we're just one more week closer to getting together, which I hope is soon. Now, for those who don't know, well, even those who do, I guess I can say, your pastor isn't going to be up and about much for the next 2 months. But with proper healing and so forth, I'll make it back again, and I'll try to keep posting these messages. If not, I do have a fallback. So, folks, it'll be a great day when I get my bones healed up and we all get together again. You know, we're very important. We really are. Every one of us is very important because we can do things that can mean an awful lot in somebody's life, an awful lot. And I have a little example here of what I'm talking about. It's called cleaning turtles. Now, well, that's strange, you'd say, cleaning turtles. Who'd want to clean a turtle? Well, there was a guy that he used to go walking along the beach. Every morning he'd walk along the beach. And every Sunday morning he'd see this lady down right by the water's edge with a cage. And he wondered what it was, but finally he went over to her one Sunday and said, I've noticed you down here a lot, and I'm just wondering what you were doing. And about that time, he happened to notice that cage was a trap, and there were 3 little turtles in it, and she had the 4th one on her lap. And he says, well, what are you doing with these tables? With these turtles? Because she had a sponge in her hand, and she was cleaning off the shell. And she says, well, you know, the turtles, they get algae and scum stuck to the back of their shells, and they can't absorb as much heat when they sun themselves. Also, they can cause other problems. Plus, they can soften the shell. Plus, it can even cause turtles to die. He says, yeah, that's a great thing that you're doing, but you got 4 turtles here, and you're going to have them all cleaned up and back into the ocean. See, that's good, but this is not a drop in the bucket. I mean, how many turtles are out here? How many turtles are out here? And who's going to take care of all them? So you're not really making a dent here. And she says, well, yeah, I am. She says, if these turtles could talk, this turtle I have right here in my lap right now would say that that I am doing, I am the one person, the only person in his life that ever did anything right for him. You know, she was kind. And she just, you think she's just doing something that really doesn't make any sense. Yet, like she said, if that little turtle could talk, he'd say that I was making all the difference in the world. Just one little turtle. And how does that work for us? We can help somebody out. Right now, I'm having a couple of folks helping me out. That does make all the difference in the world. It does. So any kind of or act of kindness it's wonderful. It's good. It's great. Will you get a reward for it? Maybe. Maybe not. But that's not the point. The point is that you can make all the difference in the world to one person by doing a kind deed. Dr. Seuss, you all remember him. I have a quote from him here that really stands out. He says, "To the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world." Think about that. Let's now follow in a word of prayer. Lord, in these days of knowing, not knowing, we, like the buds on the trees, are eager to burst forth into the world. Hold us gently in place until we are certain in the ways of loving our neighbor. Let us not toss ourselves and neighbors to the thoughtless harm. Let us recall that all life is sacred in your eyes, and those with lines of life etched upon their hands and faces, and including those whose immune systems are compromised. These two are your beloved, whose care we are blessed to bear, and we seek blessing upon those who have answered a call to care for us in our times of physical healing, no matter our opinion, our ideology, our hardships, Lord. These we hold in our care as neighbors. Help us to hear that caring for one another is your command on our lives. Open our ears to hear the tragedy in this time of coronavirus, and not only our own anxiety and grief that may come on blustering words and tired rhetoric. Instead, let us think on how we will make the world a better place. Instead, let us think on what kindness, however small, we might offer someone. Instead, let us remember that our life is not our own, but belongs to you. Instead, let us dream how we might enter our communities to be a beacon of hope for those living in disorder, to come alongside them while they find order. Alongside them while they reorder their lives. Help us always, Lord, to remember our promise to you that we will care for our neighbor as ourselves. This we pray in your name. Amen. The gospel this morning comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verses 13 to 20. There's quite a message in here, and there's also some things to think about, and we'll go into that later. Excuse me. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." And he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and on the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he ordered the disciples very sternly not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. So, finally getting right down to the point where Jesus was told that he was the Messiah. Now, they were in Caesarea Philippi, and that's situated about 25 miles north of the Sea of Galilee and at the base of Mount Hermon. It is the location of one of the largest springs feeding the Jordan River. This abundant water supply has made the area very fertile and very attractive for religious worship. While they were there, gathered about him and the disciples, he threw out a question at them, and said, What do people say who I am? What do they say about me? What do they say about Jesus? Who am I? Well, they say that the people say that you're John the Baptist, perhaps Elijah, Jeremiah, one of the other prophets. Anyway, he's got to be a prophet. And then the disciples were asked the same question. Who do you say that I am? Well, enter old Rocky. That's Peter. See, Peter loved to run off at the mouth on occasion. He would shift his mouth in gear before he would engage his brain. But this time, he got it right. Peter got it right. Now, Jesus says, on this rock, I will build my church. In English, the word Peter means rock or stone. In other languages, it still means the same. Like Petros in Greek means rock, stone. Petros in Hebrew means the same thing. Pedro in Spanish, you look it up, it'll say rock or stone. And they're just, even the Africans, they have a word, a name for him. Pieter is what they call him. And that means rock or stone. So no matter what language Peter is translated to, it still means the same thing. So it was on that stone that Jesus was going to build his church. Yeah, you are the Messiah, the Son of God. Now Jesus says that, no mortal, no man, no human has told you this. No one has told you this. The only one who would know would be God. You did not receive this through anybody but God. So, he would even be given the keys to heaven. Now, I don't know what that would all translate into. Keys to heaven, we think, well, he's got the door to the gate. Well, maybe not. I don't know what it means. But anyway, it's powerful, and it really means a lot, even though we can't really put a tag on it. But Peter was everything. He was the base for the church, the rock. He had the keys to the church. He was something else. Jesus put quite a load on him right there. And then he goes on to talk about whatever you bind on earth will already be bound in heaven. That's what it means. So if you did all kinds of good stuff, well, it's already recorded in heaven. You've been loosed in heaven. Now, if you are not loosed, or what, if let me change that. Like, see, and he says, bind on earth will be bound in heaven, loosed on earth will be loosed in heaven. And what it really means is, I have a literal translation here from Young, and also from the Amplified Bible, and it puts it this way: whatever you bind, forbid to enter to be improper and unlawful on earth will already have been bound in heaven. And whatever you loose, permit, declare unlawful, or declare lawful on earth will have already been loosed in heaven. Do you understand that? What we bind on earth will be bound in heaven. It's already bound in heaven. And what is loosed on earth, the bad stuff, has already been bound in heaven, or loosed in heaven. So we now have established that Jesus is the Messiah. And he tells his disciples to keep their mouths shut. Don't tell anyone else. Well, I think you know how that worked. The word got spread. Jesus was so full of lessons, and I just wish that we had the knowledge of what he was talking about during his whole ministry. I wish that we could be of that time, so we could further understand the meanings of what he was saying. Because everything we know it's a lot different from what people knew back in those days. We kind of have to be spoon-fed some things to really understand what Jesus was saying. So let's not leave Peter standing alone. Let's jump in there and be what Jesus wants us to be. Let us not only be Christians, but let us be good people. Let us help one another. That is so important, that we help one another. Do as Jesus did. And may our actions be seen by other people as good. May people say, these folks are godly, and we sure appreciate how they treat us, and I think maybe we go out and treat other people the same way. I think we should. So do that, folks. As you go your way, day by day, do something good. Care for somebody. Amen.